Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Jedrick Baltazar, and this is my Emath 2 YouTube assignment. So the piece of information that I'll be using today is actually an academic study conducted on the impact of time devoted to video games on student achievement. According to this study, the average gaming in minutes per day is 101.77 minutes. So that study claims that the average time spent on video games is 101.77 minutes per day. Therefore, my null hypothesis would be the average time spent on video games is 101.77 minutes per day. So my alternate hypothesis would be the average time spent on video games is more than 101.77 minutes per day. In order to find whether the alternative hypothesis can be accepted or rejected, I conducted a survey asking people the amount of minutes they spend on video games per day. I collected a total of 46 responses. If you look at this graph, it shows how many people spent how many minutes on video games. The y-axis is the number of people and the x-axis is the number of minutes. I took don't play as 0 minutes, less than 60 minutes as 30 minutes, and more than 420 minutes as 480 minutes. The table on the left here is all the data I collected arranged in a number of minutes. To find the mean, I simply use the Excel formula average, followed by cell C6 to cell C51 in the brackets. What this formula basically does is it adds up all these values in the C column and divides it by the sample size, which is 46, to get the average. Now to find standard deviation of my sample, I simply use the Excel formula stdev.s followed by cell C6 to cell C51 again to find the standard deviation. If you don't know what standard deviation is, it basically tells you how spread out your values are in your data. For significance level, we are told that it should be within 5% of the population mean. If you don't know what significance level is, it basically is a way of measuring how willing we are to risk being wrong when we say something isn't true. So in this case, since the significance level is 0.05, it means there's a 5% chance that we're making an error by rejecting the null hypothesis. Okay, now for the p-value. If you don't know what the p-value is, it basically helps you measure how much evidence you have against the null hypothesis. So if your p-value is very small, or smaller than your significance level, then it means that your result is very surprising under the null hypothesis. So you might start to doubt the null hypothesis. But if your p-value is very large, or more than your significance value, then your result isn't very surprising at all. And so there's no reason for you to doubt the null hypothesis. Now, in order for us to find a p-value, we will have to conduct hypothesis testing for our mean. Since we don't know the standard deviation of the population, we have to use t-test. So using this formula, we take our sample mean minus our population mean over our standard deviation divided by the square root of our sample size. So as you can see here, using the formula, we get a value of 2.65792 for our t-test. Now for p-value, since our alternate hypothesis has a clear direction of being more than the null hypothesis, we use a one-tailed test for our alternate hypothesis. So using the Excel formula of t.dis.rt, which is the Excel formula for our one-tailed test, we get our p-value of 0.00542. Now in the brackets here, as you can see, we have our t-test value and we have our sample size minus 1. So now that we have our p-value, we can compare it with the significance level. Now since our p-value is less than our significance level, we reject our null hypothesis and we accept our alternate hypothesis. Thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.